What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video here on the Fantasy Fellowship channel. My name is Kyle. The final Green Bay Packers mock draft that I'm going to put out for this season here as I record this, it's Monday night, April 25th. We have a couple days here before the draft coming up on Thursday evening. And I just want to make sure it's clear. I'm just doing this for fun. I'm not going to be doing too many crazy trades, although I will say I think the Packers are very likely to make a trade up in the first round. We know the general manager Gutekunst has a strong history of trading up in the first round, and if not the first round, I think day two, that second and that third round, you're going to see a lot of moving around. So I think for this draft though, and for all my mock drafts, this is my mock draft 7.0. This is the final one that I'm doing. I'm just going to stay put. I'm going to stay put, and we'll kind of review the trades as they come. But I do think there's potential for the Packers to kind of leap into this team area if they like one of the wide receivers there. But let's go ahead and get into this. We're using PFF.com. Their mock draft simulator has been pretty nice. And they'll show us our team needs. They'll show us some things. And let's go ahead and get started. And I think the majority of the consensus here, let's actually go to mockdraftdatabase.com. I just want to show you guys what the Packers have been getting mock drafted lately from other websites. So the consensus pick here has been Treylon Burks by a share of 26.3%. Number two is Olave, 19.5%. Jameson Williams at 10.7%. 43.6% say other, and I guess round 1, pick 28, Jahan Dotson has been the guy. So these are the mocks that have been out lately. Getting Kyle Hamilton round 1, okay. George Pickens round 1. You see George Pickens here by a couple people. Bill Huber of Sports Illustrated and Freddie Boston of Lombardi Ave. Trevor Penning, George Pickens. Olave, Tyler Smith. Penning, George Pickens, okay. Daxton, George Pickens. So you see a lot of George Pickens here. Chris Olave, I don't expect to see him falling, but very, very interesting here. So it looks like, again, Packers get 2 picks in the first round, and I just want to just kind of revisit real quick our depth chart here before we get into it. Our depth chart of Sammy Watkins, Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb. Watkins is an outside receiver. Allen Lazard's an outside receiver. I think we're looking for a slot receiver with one of these picks, which to me, that makes me lean more towards Treylon Burks or more towards a Jahan Dotson. I guess if you're looking for a receiver round 1, George Pickens is primarily an outside receiver. So to me, I'm looking at replacing Randall Cobb. Maybe Amari Rodgers takes a step forward, but these are the only 4 receivers expected to be a lock. The other guys here, Winfrey, Malik, not sure I trust them. But anyways, let's get into it. The first pick, round 1, pick number 22 for the Green Bay Packers. We are up to pick on the board here. Top player for PFF's available is Tyler Linderbaum. One of the best centers that we've seen in this class, 95.4 grade. Strictly a center. We're not going to be going here. He should be off the board by now. The other guy that I've seen mocked to the Packers, interestingly enough, is the tackle Bernhard Raymond, not sure how to say it, but really strong grade here. He's primarily a left tackle. I don't know if we would take him there if he's available. Interesting. PFF has Sky Moore ranked as their best available receiver, and this is the guy that I'm very interested in. Not a very big guy, 5'10", 195, not a typical Packer receiver that they would take, but he's the highest graded receiver left on the board by PFF. He does have some experience in the slot, 140 slot snaps last season. Put up a whopping 94 catches, 1,291 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Watching him play, he looks like a running back. FBS high, 26 broken tackles last year. So he is really fun. Get him the ball and watch him go. I think he could be a really, really fun guy to plug into the slot for Green Bay. Again, we mentioned Watkins, Allen Lazard. These are going to be your outside receivers. And you're going to see some kind of duo of Cobb and Amari Rodgers. So I'm interested in Sky Moore. Now, if I was willing to gamble on a receiver falling, and here's the best available. You got Sky Moore, Pickens, and Treylon Burks. I think it's very likely that one of these 3 players is going to be a Green Bay Packer, assuming we stay at 22 and 28. If they love Treylon Burks, that's fine. He's actually one of the guys that they brought in for a visit, and that's great. I love Treylon Burks. George Pickens, they also brought him in for a visit. You don't see Sky Moore. Interesting. So to me, this leans. If this is the board, I mean, I really do like some of the defensive talent on the board here. We did miss Devontae Wyatt. So I think for me, we're going to go ahead and make the fans happy with this pick. I'm going to take a receiver here. Again, if you don't like Treylon Burks, maybe you want to wait for George Pickens at 28. But Arizona, Dallas, Buffalo, Tennessee, all these teams could use a receiver here. So I think it makes more sense to get your guy at 22. With Treylon Burks, what are you getting? He's 46th ranked by PFF here. I don't know if I agree with that, but he's 6'3", 225 pounds. He's primarily a slot receiver. You get this guy the ball quickly and watch him do some things. 65 catches, 1,100 yards, and 11 touchdowns last year. Got better each and every year in the SEC. He's been the guy I've been mocking the most in all my mock drafts. So we'll go ahead and collect our first receiver of the draft here. We're guaranteed to get some more too. But anyways, we are up here, pick number 28 in the first round here. After we took Treylon Burks, you see Zion Johnson, Andrew Booth, Tyler Linderbaum, Trevor Penning, and Kaiir Elam. And now, I mean, if we really wanted to double down at receiver, we could totally do that. Sky Moore, George Pickens, best available receivers. I haven't really mocked Travis Jones here, defensive line, and I think this is one of the biggest weaknesses of the Packers team right now. Let me read you guys some things about Travis Jones. So defensive lineman from Connecticut, 6'4", 325. Jones was the lone bright spot on UConn's roster this season at 6'5" and 333 pounds. He's a monstrous space-eating nose tackle, but he can be a little bit more than that. He racked up 25 pressures and 21 run stops on the season and played well at the Senior Bowl. So 87.6 grade. A lot of defensive snaps last year. Didn't play in 2020. Big 2019 season as well. Not much of a sack guy, but again, he's a run stuffer. He's going to get some hits when he needs to. You can see here he primarily plays in the B gap. So if you slot him into the Packers depth chart, I think he could push Dean Lowry or Jarran Reed for a starting spot in camp here, and you make maybe one of those guys come off the bench. So behind these guys, Lowry, Clark, and I guess it's Lowry and Reed. Those are the defensive ends, the true DEs. You're looking at Jack Heflin and not much else here. So the depth at defensive end is a major need. I think you want an extra guy in rotation there. So I'm very, very interested in Travis Jones. If we're looking for another potential edge rusher, let me go ahead and hit DL, and then I'll hit the edge button here. Why are all those buttons selected here? Edge rusher. So we kind of missed out on some of the guys here. I like Boye Mafe. I don't know if they like him at 28. We'll see if some of these guys fall. And again, I do think the Packers have a lot of weapons. I think round 2 is going to be the round where they go up and swoop for a guy. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stay put here. I'm going to go ahead and collect the best defensive lineman that I think is available here in Travis Jones. They need a starting defensive lineman to compete with Lowry and the new free agent Jarran Reed. So there you go. First round is done. And here we are at round 2, pick number 53. Packers are on the board. And we do have a lot of trade options here. Like, that's what's cool about PFF. I did put the link in the description below. If you want to make a trade, you can totally do that. And then just, I guess, to recap, we just plugged in a starter maybe at the defensive end. He's going to compete with Lowry, compete with Jarran Reed. If not, he's going to be in the rotation. So I like that pick there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna slot Treylon Burks right into the starting slot receiver role. So now we are 5 deep at wide receiver. Definitely could use another guy. Maybe we wait a little bit more yet. Could for sure use an offensive lineman piece, whether that's a guard that can come in and compete with Runyon and Newman, or for a straight up right tackle. The Packers did have a visit here with one of the best right tackles in the league, or in the NCAA, Abraham Lucas, and he's available right now. I do think there's another guy that I'm highly interested in here. But as far as edge rushers, I do think the Packers are going to value edge rushers on draft day here. And interestingly enough, they didn't really bring any guys in here. Sam Williams was the only edge rusher that they brought in. There was a reported visit here from Alex Wright, UAB, who they have a strong grade on, so maybe we'll grab him later. But as far as edge rushers in this right now, Josh Paschal from Kentucky, PFF's number 44th ranked player, 6'4", 628 or 268 pounds. Paschal has a unique body type for the edge at 6'3" and 278. He's a leverage demon who lived in opponents' backfields last year and right to a Power 5 leading 12.4 run stop rate. So 90 overall grade. I think this is definitely a player that the Packers are looking at. And I like that they got creative with him in Kentucky. He can do multiple things. He's not just like a one-trick pony kind of guy. I think he's got the smarts and the talents to be moved around. Basically a 3-year starter here at Kentucky. So if this was the board, this would be my pick here. And basically we just plugged in a potential, I guess this is, these are technically backups with Paschal and Travis Jones, but man, like these guys are going to be a part of the rotation. They're going to be coming in on second, third downs and helping out the team. And if any injuries happen, they could be starting. So I think it's very valuable to continue to stock the defense. If we're really looking at what the Packers are strengths at this year, it's going to be running the football, and we have a really solid defense. So I look to build upon that in the draft. Now, I'm up to pick here again, pick number 58 in the second round. We just missed out on Trey McBride. I love him. Christian Watson was available. We missed on Abraham Lucas, potential starting right tackle, to Marvin Leal, and then there's Trey McBride as well. So we didn't get an offensive lineman that we coveted here. I do have one for you guys. I just want to shout out a couple names here that I like. If you're looking at pick number 59, you want a linebacker, Troy Anderson. A ton of fun. Huge guy, 86.1 grade from PFF, 6'4", 243, converted running back and a quarterback. Super athletic guy here. There's another linebacker I like, Brian Asamoah. They didn't really love him in the PFF grade though, 73.8. So I guess if you're looking for a linebacker in that range, Chad Muma or Troy Anderson would be my picks. If you're looking for a receiver in this range, I would say receiver's probably almost cashed out by now, but Jalen Tolbert, the field stretcher, John Mechie, man, I'm intrigued with John Mechie. I think he could find a really good spot in the Packers offense, but I think I'm going to wait a little bit on receiver yet. We already got Traylon Burks. We've already gone kind of heavy defense here. I wouldn't mind waiting to see if a receiver slips to round 3. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and, again, one of the Packers' biggest needs is offensive line. John Runyon, Royce Newman, these guys can hold down the guard spots. I like what I'm getting there. Elgton Jenkins, though, could technically, go back to his left guard position, and then you're left with Josh Neiman here as a right tackle. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the Packers are going to want to do. Most of the depth charts that I have looked at, they have Elgton listed as the right tackle. So that, to me, makes me think we need a potential guard that could come in and compete with Runyon and Royce Newman. Otherwise, if this is our line, I mean, I like our starting lineup quite a bit. But for me, there's this tackle here, Luke Godecki from Central Michigan. The Chippewas here, 6'5", 312. They're one of my favorite players, and he's just been rising up draft boards. The other half of college football's best tackle duo from last year, Godecki, is a very steady run blocker who likely projects best to guard at the next level. His 94.3 run blocking grade in 2021 was among the top marks in the nation. So I think I read somewhere that he didn't have the longest arms, which that could potentially push him inside the tackles here. But you're looking at a guy who has a ton of right tackle experience. 738 snaps in 2021, over 1,000 snaps in 2019. So again, 0 sacks last year in 10 games and only 3 in his freshman season. So I'm very excited about this guy. Not only can he compete at right tackle, but guess what? He can also, play back up to guard. So I'm very high on Luke Godecki here from Central Michigan, and I wouldn't be opposed to him here. So that's what I'm going to go. Pick number 59, Luke Godecki. And man, we're talking about a guy that you can plug in at 1, 2, or 3 positions here. I think he's just a nice addition. And I think Packers find a way, man, to get these offensive linemen, whether it's, second day or third day, they find guys that can hang around and be versatile players and contribute. So that's what I'm going to covet there with that pick. Now we're up to pick 92, round 3. Let's see what we're working with here. As far as receivers available, I did see the Packers had a visit here with Romeo Dubes. I don't know if this is a complete list here, so excuse me if I'm missing it, but I'm pretty sure they met with the Nevada receiver here. And there are some guys that I like late, whether it's Justin Ross, Tyquan Thornton, or Velus Jones Jr. These guys are kind of fun, special teams type players here. But let me go ahead and just kind of see what is the best available. Carson Strong at quarterback's a nice one. Marcus Jones, now he's a fun player, solid grade, but 5'8", 174-pound cornerback. I'm not sure, but here's the blurb on him. He's not only the best kick punt returner in the draft, but also a playmaking all-around cornerback. He picked off 5 passes and broke up 12 others in 2021. So if we're looking for a guy that can play some special teams, sure, but are we going to take him in the 3rd round? I don't know. You're looking at a guy that could maybe come in and be a potential quarterback or corner for the Packers here. But again, we already have Stokes, Rasul, Jair. After that, it gets a little, weak. But man, 5'8" and 174. I'm not sure I love that number. Brian Cook out of Cincinnati. A lot of Packer fans have been wanting a safety early. And here's the blurb. Cook is one of the most assignment-sure safeties and won't be missing in many tackles. He whiffed only 7 times on 100 attempts in 2021. Strong grade here. And what I like about this is they moved him around a lot. For a safety, a lot of slot snaps, box, and deep snaps. So he's a very versatile guy. Missed 7 tackles last year. Not too concerning on that here. So I wouldn't be opposed here to Brian Cook. I haven't really done too much research into that, but he seems to be like a pretty smart player at this point of the draft. Jalen Armour Davis, 6'1", 197 corner. This is typically what the Packers are looking for in their size. And last year, he didn't give up a single touchdown, had 3 interceptions. I like this passer rating too of 52.3, an outside corner primarily here. Again, 11 games, no touchdowns, 44 targets, only gave up 27 catches for 290 and 3 interceptions here. So I'm interested in the corner. Again, 6'1", 197. Only 1 year of starting experience combined with an extensive injury history will scare some, but Armour Davis allowed just 290 yards in all of 2021. He has scheme versatile traits for the next level. So if he passes the Packers injury, I guess our what's the word I'm looking for? Our medical history and all of that checks out. He could be a guy that they're looking for. I'm interested in Greg Dulcich, the tight end. I don't know if he is still available. No, they got him already. So what do we do here? Round 3. This is why I'm beginning to think that this pick is one the Packers are going to bounce. We're going to move it. We're going to try and move up or down or shake a little bit here in the draft because there's really nobody that I love here. I suppose I'm interested in the safety, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Brian Cook, Cincinnati, that's technically my pick right now. If I did want to go with more offensive linemen here, you're looking at a tackle here, a left tackle here in Kellen Diesch from Arizona State. There was another Arizona State lineman I thought that did pretty well. That's Donovan West, but he's already gone. So what do we do here? I mean, we missed out. I believe we missed out on Sam Williams. Where did Sam Williams go? We did see that the Packers did meet with him. He went 81. I can see that being a player the Packers go up and trade for and get that other edge rusher here. But if we're up to pick here, I'm going to go ahead and just collect one of the best safeties here, Cincinnati's Mr. Cook there. But anyways, we're moving on into the 4th round. The Packers are up to pick with pick number 132. We could be looking at some more defensive picks. We'll take a look at the offensive linemen, but I for sure want to take a look at the best wide receivers available because I think this is where the Packers do it. Tyquan Thornton and Velus Jones Jr. We've met with both of these guys, and I think there's a strong chance. I mean, I just listened to Brian Gutekunst's his press conference this afternoon, and it sounds like they are not going to shy away. If a player is really good at special teams and he can contribute, they're going to take him. So that to me highlights Velus Jones Jr., who was productive as a receiver as well as a return man. So I'm very interested in Velus Jones Jr., but Tyquan Thornton, super, super intriguing player. And I think there's room for 7 wide receivers on the Packers team this year. Because if you can tell me Velus Jones can compete as a wide receiver, or if he can compete as the return man, I think they can just leave him be and not expect too much out of him. But what we'll do here, I'm going to go ahead and get Tyquan Thornton, one of the best field stretchers in this draft. Of course, he ran the blazing 40 time. And guess what? The Packers are back up to pick again. We're going to do it again. We're going to go another wide receiver here. So I got you guys 3 wide receivers. Round 4, we get Tyquan Thornton and Velus Jones Jr. Both guys the Packers have met with. Look at this top 30 visits. Velus Jones, George Pickens, they're all there. They are all there. So now I'm kind of just looking at this list. Maybe we start to fill out some of these guys here. I'm very interested in this edge rusher, Alex Wright. He's one of the guys here that kind of falls through the crack. And I don't know why. I guess they finally figured out that he had to be ranked higher. Never mind. I did a mock not too long ago, and Alex Wright was he was super, super low on their board. But anyways, round 5, pick 171. We've done a good job here of getting pretty much all our major needs here. I'm open to even getting a running back in this draft too. I like Brian Robinson Jr. from Alabama, 6'2", 225. He's the top short yardage bruiser in the draft class after sitting behind Najee Harris for 4 years. He broke out with 1,300 yards and 14 scores last year. Strong grade. I don't know what you guys think here, but just adding, if anything happens to Aaron Jones or A.J. Dillon, man, we're pretty hurt at the running back position. So Edwards is like my RB5 in the draft, so I'm just going to snag him. And maybe we find some offensive linemen to round this draft class out. People probably want some linebackers, so we'll look at the offensive line, linebackers, maybe another edge rusher or 2. Let me see if I can kind of click into some of these guys. So I'll click, I'll even look at corner. Let's look at edge. We'll look at LB. So top ranked player, Joshua Williams from Fayetteville State Broncos. No information on him. Interesting. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no information on him, but they have him ranked 117th. Williams is making a massive leap up in competition from Division II to the NFL, but he's got the goods to do so. NFL teams will covet his length and rare fluidity at the position. So interesting. I don't see any. I wish they would show some stats here. That's a little disappointing. But apparently, a really lanky corner, Sean Jolly, Appalachian State, big boards number 210, 5'9", 175. Packers don't really take small corners. Jack Jones here, Arizona State. Nice strong grade here, starting outside corner for sure. Passer ratings have been pretty solid. He hasn't given up more than 100 passer rating in his career. Not sure I like all the corners at this point of the draft. What do you guys think about Nephi Sewell here, the linebacker though out of Utah? 72 grade, played some box. Could be a special teams guy. Let's go ahead and let's just make this quick. I'm gonna take this Joshua Williams and see what he is. I don't know much about him, but he's ranked 117th on this list. Apparently, he's a D2 player. Packers do need a quarterback 4-5 opportunity. What about Jack Sanborn? Real quick, strong grade here. This is gonna be my pick. I'm gonna take the linebacker Jack Sanborn out of Wisconsin. Give them a potential backup there to our starting linebackers Chris Barnes and Devondre Campbell. Pick number 249, round 7. Packers are still on the clock here, looking for a potential corner. We can get some offensive linemen. There are some guys here that are still on the Packers list that we can maybe snag here. Tariq Carpenter, Georgia Tech, interesting guy. Eric Johnson, Missouri State. Is he gone? Eric Johnson, he is gone. Not there. Let me see. Nothing's really sticking out here. What about Vincent Gray, cornerback out of Michigan, 6'2", 192. Rough passer rating the last couple of seasons. Give up 5 touchdowns, 39 receptions last year, almost 500 yards. Yeah, at this point, we're just filling up some bodies. I'm going to go ahead and take the Joshua Williams player. The draft's pretty much over at this point. I'm just kind of filling in some gaps here. We'll take one more player here. If I missed anything, I apologize. We got the linebacker already here. We did get a corner. I kind of touched on every level of the field, which is cool. I've been taking Cameron Latou a lot in this drafts here. He's an interesting tight end project here. Played at Alabama, so he's got the athletics and the smarts there to maybe be a two-way player. So I'll go ahead and take the Alabama tight end. We'll see what happens. Let's see what our grade was in this draft. The draft is complete, and we're just getting our PFF grade. Let's see what we got. We ended up with a C+ for Treylon Burks, a C+ for Travis Jones, Josh Paschal, B+, Luke Goedeke here, B+, Brian Cook, B+, Tyquan Thornton and Velus Jones. They give us a D and a T+. Brian Robinson, C-, Jack Sanborn, B+, Joshua Williams, cornerback. I'll have to do some more research on him, but A-, and Cameron Latou, C+. But what I like about this is we hit every level of the defense. We got the defensive lineman, we got the edge rusher, we got the safety, we got a potential backup linebacker, and we got a potential, number 4 or 5 corner. On the offensive side of the ball, we got a starting slot receiver. We have a deep threat in Tyquan Thornton. We have a special teams and another kind of gadget guy in Velus Jones Jr. We got a running back number 3 in Brian Robinson Jr., potential tight end here that could replace Mercedes Lewis down the line. And then I think we got the most important one, Luke Goedeke here at the tackle position. In hindsight, I probably should have drafted another 1 or 2 more linemen, but I think this was one of my more really well-rounded drafts. I think these guys are going to stick around and help the Packers for years to come. So a lot of fun, a lot of excitement. Again, this was just for fun, so don't overreact to anything in this mock draft. If you're new, like the video, subscribe. We're going to start pumping out some fantasy football content. So that's it for this one. Go Pack Go. Enjoy the draft. Let me know who you guys think in the comments below you guys would like to see in the first round, second round, and maybe the third round. So thank you so much for your time. We'll see you guys in a future video. Peace.